All right. Let's put together a little UI here. So I've got this code from my utilities that should just create a basic form here, except for I don't have apparently all of my variables declared. So let me do that real quick. All right. Cool. So now we have this little form box here, right? I'm going to change a couple things. One, what do we want to call this? So I think I'm going to give this a variable. Just call this the form name, and then I'm going to use that as an argument here, and then I'm going to pass that through here, and we're going to call this a upload. We're going to call this LinkedIn URL converter. So what we're going to do here, I put together the script last night, and right now it takes a list of Sales Navigator URLs and converts them and grabs your basic profile details from each URL, including the public URL. And so what we want to do is create something that allows you to input any LinkedIn URL, a list of them, and then the output will be this, same thing. So let's get that done. We've got a lot of the work done already. So we've got this little form created, and all I really want to do here is add a couple of things to this form. So I want to add a text box or text area where a user can drag and drop or copy and paste, or do I want to create an upload element where a user can upload a file like a CSV or a TSV? I think a copy paste is going to be better for this purpose, because while upload would be nice, I want this to be a little bit more generic, and I want anybody, sometimes you might just have one URL that you want to check real quick, and having to go through, saving it as a file and then uploading it might be a bit of an annoyance. And the flip side of that is never going to be true. It's never going to be a pain in the ass to copy paste some URLs into this. So let's do that. And so we're going to call this text area, and so this little function here is just a shorthand for me saying document create element and then the name or the type of element. And so in this case, it's going to be a text area. And then this allows me to set a bunch of attributes. And the attribute I want to set here, we're going to give this an ID because we are going to want to pull this information out. So having a reference ID will be handy. And we'll call this URL list from user input, making it specific because why not? And let's give it some styling. And I think the only styling I want to do at this moment will be some padding of 6 pixels and a border radius of 0.4 and that should be good. And now I need to append this to the cbod, which is this element here or here. Append child text area. And now we have this little text area, but it's defaulting to the parent's background, and I want it to be a different color. So I need to give it some different styling. And so I'm going to say color is we're going to make the color blue, so the text color, and the background will be a some sort of gray here. I'll do that. There we go. Cool, that works. And then finally, I need a button so that I can start the actions once the user has entered their information. Right? So here, I will say our button. There is a button element, but I don't like using it. And let's give this some styling. And the styling, we're actually going to use a lot of this. So I'll just pop this over and we'll change the background to and then we want to append that to the cbod again. All right. Cool. Now we've got our little button, and we want to make it a pointer so that the user realizes it's something they can click on. And we also want to put some text in there so that the user knows what it does. All right. That works, except for let's make this text align center. There we go. And for whatever reason, this is going off the page a little bit, so let's figure out what's going on there. Left +5. That's odd. All right, Well, that's good enough, I guess. I'm going to change this a little bit more, though. All right. And now we have that all set. And so now we need to add an event listener to the button that will then take the values that are in here and do something with them, right? So let's do that. Function run converter and then we'll say we're going to get the text area. We want to get the ID, and this is just a little function that says document get element by ID, just a shorthand, I guess, here. And then I want to know if the text area has anything in it. Text area value. And I want to know if these are if there are valid links in here as well. So one moment. Let's grab a few links. Different types of links, that is. So this is the specific sales navigator link that we wanted, right? And then there's going to be other types too, right? So we want another type that we might see is people converting a link that I used to create a lot, which is going to be something that would look like this, which is a redirect link. And then we also might see links from the LinkedIn Recruiter that want to get converted, right? And those would look like this, as well as I think the new version of Recruiter gives you links that look like this, if I recall correctly. And would there be any other type? I think that should do it. What I'm not sure about is if the method I'm using will get this, but we'll see. We will see. So let's first off, we want to check the input using a regular expression to see if it's actually a LinkedIn link. And so we're going to say linkedin.com and / some data needs to be after that as well. So it'll always be either in or recruiter or sales, right? And then test, and then pass this through. So if that's true, then we know we've got at least a handful of, or at least we have one valid link. And actually, I'm going to use a different method now for what I was using prior. So let's go to regex 101 and play around here, right? So here we're going to write a regular expression, and we can reuse some of this probably, right? So here we can see we've got some matches, which is good. That's what we were expecting. And I want to wrap this up like so. So here I need to say profile. Oops. Take that out. People. All right, so now we're at the edge. And I think what we need to do from here then is just take any non-white space character, and then this will then extract out all the things we're looking for here. And so then I should be able to then pop this back over here and say paths, and then I can say text area, and I can use the match method. And then I want to use a global, which means it'll just match everything. And then I'm going to just test this by a console log, and we can see if we got our matches here. So let's pull these out, rerun this, drop these in, and you know what? I forgot to, well, first off, so we don't lose these, let's drop them in here. And then we need to add an event listener here to the button that says button on click. Boom. Let's run that again. All right. Convert URLs. Text area dot match is not a function. Do I have a typo? Oh, oops. Text area value match. Path is not defined. Oh, paths. Okay. We'll get there eventually. All right, cool. So now we have these. And now we need to look at how to split these up. So in this instance, I don't want this information. I just want this stuff. In this instance, I don't even know if this is going to work, but we'll check that out later. In any case, I want to keep this full thing, I think. Well, you know what? Let's check real quick before we go too far down, because I don't need to write a condition for it if it's not even possible. Right. Okay. well, let's just grab it all because we'll need it all eventually anyway. And I'm just going to go over to a new tab here and test it over here. And then instead of downloading, I'm just going to keep that like this, and then here instead of doing that, you know what? Yeah, this is going to be too much. Let me just move this over. Let's just check it like this. Profile path. Just gonna pass this over. I'll get rid of this. I don't need that. Get basics, profile from array, and then I should be able to chop this off like that, and now this should work. Tracking ID is not defined. What the fuck? Ah, shit. Okay. I guess I should have done more testing on this before I ran it yesterday. My bad. Creds. Tracking ID. The fuck is this shit? How did I mess that up so badly? Okay, so I need to fix this in my code over here. And so yeah, that doesn't work on recruiter profiles. I wonder if it'll work like this. Nope. And just to make sure it's working at all, okay, it is working like that. So we know that it doesn't work on recruiter links. So we'll have to build in some more functionality around that, which is doable. It's just a pain in the ass. But all right, so we know that's the case. So how do we want to sort these? Is the question. Well, one of the things I'm thinking right now is that you might also have some situations where you have this going on, right? And so I might want to say, or white space. Or word boundary, would that mess me up? I guess, yeah, that'll work because it's all right, that should work. So now I can pull this back over here. And then I should also be able to run that, convert URLs, and then oh shit, no, it's giving me stuff I don't want. That's all right. I'll clean it up on the other end. But I really need to change my approach anyway, because I want to sort these out into types. So I want to know if it's a recruiter type or a profile type, right? And then run them separately based on that information. So we've got that. Let's just do one for, that's a LinkedIn path, like so, right? And let's create a function. LinkedIn URL type. LinkedIn type. Right, and then we're going to pass the string through there. And from here, then we're going to say S match and then we're going to map, right? And what do we want to do? Actually, I might want to get everything in the first run here. But then instead of getting like that, I think I'll just get the full thing, right? Yeah, that's good. Yeah. And then I can iterate over that. So this will give us all these matches here. And then I can say URL and then we'll do we'll bring back an object. And that object will have the type tripe. And the type will be So the condition I need to really account for is if it's a recruiter profile that is this sequence, so the member number or member ID, and then these authenticators. So I know that if it's just numbers right after that, and then a comma, and then some word characters, and then a comma, and some more word characters. If it's this, I know that this is not something that I can use. So I want to give that a recruiter legacy, I guess, type. Or I'm just going to call it recruiter type. I think I actually want to do this. Yeah, I'm going to do this a little differently because there's only one instance where this is going to matter, right? And so if that's true, and I can keep this actually, return. And what is this called? I'm just going to give this true or false. So if this if it's a recruiter legacy thing, I'm just going to say false, and then the I want to get this information out, right? So I'm just going to, we'll use this like so. URL like that, and then I just need to wrap this around in a look behind so that I only pick up this information. Else, and I don't need this or that or this. And I can say, let's make this a little bit easier to read for us. If this, give us that, else, return true, and give us everything after That gives everything after that. And then we want everything before we see either a comma, so in the case of Sales Navigator, or this, or the end of the string. Well, we'll say or a white space or the end of the string, right? And that should give us what we want. Should. And I've done something wrong here, but I don't know what. I didn't close this bracket. And so then I should be able to say map and this should give us a 2D array. Map of null. Right. Oh, whoopsie. I didn't need to do that. What I should have said was text area because we're doing the matching up here within, yeah. Cool. That is incorrect. So what did we do wrong? All right. That looks correct. I don't know what's going on. Now we take this. So we know that this was working over here, so let's try it like this and take this out and just say smap, and we'll see if that works. Oh, oops. Should have done paths here. And then what the fuck? All right. Well, you screwed something up here. Aha. Yeah, that was the issue. Okay. Let's do that. And then why the fuck is it doing that? Inked in. That makes no sense. Oh, damn it. That's why. I'm an idiot. There we go. All right. And that's what we want, minus this stuff, which we can fix real quick. We just need to... We should be good. All right. There we go. Got those matches, and now we've got... What? Still not quite what I need. What did I do? First thing I need to do is say if this length is anything, or basically if this is a match, right? Do else give me back an empty array. And that's where it was. Good old regular expressions. All right, now we've got our... So, now what we should be able to do is pass this information over. And if it's one of these, we're going to skip over it for now, right? And one other thing, let's make the height here, 300 pixels. There we go. And we don't need to log that anymore. So now I need, if it is a recruiter profile link, I've got to figure out how to convert that, but I don't want to bother with it right now, so we're just going to skip over it. Right. And so let's get this stuff here, and we're going to pull it over and just drop it right on in like so. And we're not going to need this stuff. I think we already have it up here. Yep. So I can get rid of that. And then this, I'm actually just going to pull up all the way up here. And get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And all right. So a couple things I need to change now. This will go here. And we'll change that to paths. And from there, we are then looping through sales nav links, right? So we get that, we toss through, shit. I want to return 3 different items, it looks like. So let me pull this out. And I'm just going to drop this here for now. And the other thing I want to do here is when I get these paths, I want to return something else here. So instead of saying we'll return the URL as well. So this is going to be 3 items. I probably should set up key values for these so that I don't have to remember. And I was about to say, but I'm not going to because I'm lazy. But I think I'm just going to fucking do it. Run path and URL. All right. And so we'll do the same thing here. URL. Run path. All right. Cool. So let's test this real quick. Oops. Run. Cool. So now we have an array of objects. Run, true, URL. Cool. Because we want to know the original URL that we passed through. So we had to do that. Now I can then, let's just pull this right on up here. All right. And finally, now we can get back to what we were doing. And so here, how did we have this? So this is all URLs. I'm going to change this name to, well, first I don't need this anymore. Queries. Or we're going to call it query objects. Right. And don't need this. And then up here, I loop through sales navs, get basic from sales nav. So here, this is going to be called object, right? Profile by path. Profile by path. So this is no longer going to be public path, and let me change this to object.path. We'll change this to object. Change that over, and then we're returning back, and so this is returning back the basic URL, or the basic char39, right? So I want to return back the object as it is. Actually, I should just be able to return that back like it did, because that's going to come back here, profile path, and then I'm saying if that's this, then run it through basics, return basics, and basics comes back through here, and then I can just merge the merged using the spread syntax. I can use the original that we passed through along with the I'm going to rename this target path. And then here I can say profile, right? And then merged. And that should work. And then down here, I just need to make sure I change this to target path. And then one other thing I need to do is write this condition. That says if our run to this else container push, and then we're just going to push in what we sent over. All right, and now this should work. Should work. Run converter. And that'll happen here, right? All right. And if we did everything correctly, we should just be able to and when we click this, it should start running. It is. Let's go ahead and get a sheet ready so that we can view the output. And import, upload, tab separated, replace. All right, so this is what we get. And unfortunately, we don't have any deduper here, so we've got a bunch of duplicates, but that's okay. We're just testing for now. So it didn't run on these, which had the recruiter profile. So that's as expected, right? So cool. Now, then let's do some deduping so that we're not running this on information we don't need. And to do that, we might just be able to do this. We'll see. Actually, no, because these are the same. Maybe we should dedupe at the end. Right? Yeah, we'll dedupe at the end because there may be different types, right? So we want to, or do we even want to dedupe because of a user? Shit, I don't know. Yeah, we're going to dedupe. I don't like having dupes. So how do we do that? Here, let's see, what are we going to, we'll dedupe on basic ID, I guess. But then we'll have to let's dedupe on target path before we even run it, because target path will at least give us, yeah. So we can do that actually by customizing this a little bit. So we'll say filter has own property I dot target path target path and now we should see this dedupe. Oh, it's not defined. What? Oh, whoopsie. Shit. Okay. We'll just put it up here, whatever. And then we'll just change this to this. All right. Yep. And there were only 2 unique paths, so that worked as expected. And I'd say that's good enough. We don't need to do deep further than that. Might end up still with some, but I think that's sufficient. Now, if we really wanted to go the extra mile, when this completes, we could have it do some more fun stuff, right? If we wanted to. Let's do it. And then return all profiles. We're going to turn this into... Oh no, we don't want to do that. We'll have it run a new function here. But first, before we do all that, let's get rid of that. And let's give it one more test. Import, upload, drop ourselves over here. Insert new sheet, tab. There we go. Cool, as expected. Very good. So let's save what we have. Oopsie. And yeah, let's be done. But what we're going to do next time is when this completes, we're actually going to have it load a view of those people so that we can look through them.